Good morning. Welcome back to Oklahoma, and thanks for tuning in. So, I've got a weird thing going on here. It's going to be a pretty cool little project that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm going to lead you around here and show you exactly what that is. I've been getting rid of all my scrap, and my 16-foot trailer is completely loaded down with scrap metal. There's some around the corner here, and I had an old barbecue grill that I was getting ready to disassemble and just scrap, and then the thought hit me, come on Lane, you're being lazy, make something out of this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a quick view of it, and it is roached. There's a bunch more scrap over here that's going to go on the trailer when I pull it around. It's packed. So this was given to us as a housewarming gift 20 plus years ago. If this thing could talk, it would tell some stories, man. All the burgers and steaks and drinking beer and telling stories with friends and family. I'm just glad it can't take pictures and upload those to the internet. But anyway, I'm going to flip the camera around, kind of show you what the internals of all this look like, and then share with you what I'm going to try to accomplish out of this thing. I think it'll be pretty cool. Everybody's got one of these around. So all you guys know that I'm really into refurbishing old things. I'm a junker, and I have internal dialogue with myself on a regular basis and battle possible hoarding issues. But I try to keep my stuff high and tight, and I try to keep only the useful stuff. Thus, I filled my trailer up with stuff that I don't think I'm going to use. And this old grill just kind of spoke to me. I started disassembling this partially before I ever thought about turning it into something. And the reason why I'm getting rid of it in the first place, if I can open this up without something falling apart, check that out. We squeezed all the blood that we could out of this turnip. And so now, that's nice. So now, I'm going to finish disassembling this down to the bare bones, and then I'll show you what it's going to become, or my idea of what it's going to become. So the up and down strength on this thing, pushing down on it, is fine. Back and forth this way is fine. But if you try to tip it up, it kind of gets a little squirrely. So I thought that I would put either a wood top or metal top that comes across right here and is flush, which means I'm going to have to put maybe an angle iron here and here, and then I'm going to have to brace this across the front to give it a little more strength. And I'm going to use this when I'm wheeling around working on a vehicle, where I can lay all my tools out across here. That's why I left these side pieces on. This used to be a burner assembly for cooking okra or whatever, and I'll just leave that shut all the time. On the bottom, I'll have to cover that up where the propane bottle used to sit, and by putting the surface here, I've even got room, if I wanted to drop down just a little bit right here, I could actually have a slide out drawer if I want. And I don't know if I'm even going to fill in these side pieces here and here. I'll probably just leave it like it is, but that'll make a nice little cart for hauling around your truck or your vehicle or whatever you got going on. And it's keeps this thing from just going to the trash, being recycled. I'm a big proponent of not making more waste. And I'm a hoarder, so there you go. All right, let's get started with this. So I find it really ironic that I've got my trailer loaded down with scrap metal and I'm getting ready to haul it off because I picked through stuff and decided I wasn't going to need all this. And yet, here I go down to the trailer to take some measurements and see if there's anything I can use for the cart I'm wanting to build. I think I'm just going to back that trailer up and just dump it out here in the backyard and save all that stuff. You think Mama would care? Yeah, she'll care. So here we are coming through the gate into a portion of the pasture. And if that is not the epitome of grapes of wrath, I don't know what is. I'm going to be embarrassed to pull this thing behind my truck to the scrap metal dudes. But anyway, I'm going to climb up on here and see if there's possibly anything I can use. Or I may mildly look through here a little bit. You see, I do have hoarding issues, but I do keep this stuff hidden to where Mama doesn't have to look at it. It just looks like the back of a little old loafing shed from the yard. Kind of cute even, but hey, you come around this side, it looks like homeless people are squatting here. So, give me a minute or two. Also, I'm wearing flip-flops, and I haven't had a tetanus shot in 20 years. So, if you watch more of this video and I'm talking, you'll know I didn't die. So, after scuffling around in my hidey hole down there, I did manage to come up with some plywood. The trailer didn't yield anything that I could use. A little bit of water damage here, but I think it's okay widthwise if I cut right up to that line, and lengthwise I think I got enough for 2 pieces, which is what I need. But after ciphering on this for a while in my mind, I think I've decided that in this inner cavity I'm going to investigate this little heathen a little deeper, disassemble it a little more and see if I can use any of it. I might be able to use this backsplash and side pieces and actually set my plywood on this lip right here all the way around, which would look cool. And I know this looks roached out right now, but all it needs is degreased and painted. It'll look brand new. That thing will be high dollar. And then I could incorporate the lid back on it if I chose to, just for looks, but I think that'd be in the way. I am going to save it though, because this curve to this metal right here looks really close to the curvature I would need if I ever had to replace a cab corner on a square body Chevrolet, which I may do one of these days. So hence my hoarding issues. I'm going to do a little digging and ciphering and get right back with you. After taking the grill pan out that was all rotted and saving my hardware, I was able to set this piece in, and now it looks like I'm going to be able to set the plywood right on this lip right here all the way around. I've got room underneath for a drawer right in this area if I choose to. Of course, I'll have to beef it up a little maybe. And I got a bonus lip around it. It even has fins on the back. That looks like a high ride. All kidding aside, I know this is it's just junk, but I'm going to get a lot of use out of this. That's going to come in pretty handy, I think. It's not going to look that bad. Trust me. I've done this projects like this where everything just looks so crappy till you clean it up and paint it. Paint hides a multitude of sin. Then all I'll be left with is doing something down there over that hole right there, and I haven't yet made up my mind. I am, however, going to take my drill and some self-tappers and self-tap these into place on both sides, suck that up against the metal, and then back here in the corner, here and here, same on the other side. And that's also going to give this thing a lot more rigidity. That's the buzzword of today. Okay, after using a wore out 1/4 inch driver bit, I kept throwing the screws out. I finally ended up having to pre-drill everything before I could put them in there. This thing's solid now, it's not going nowhere. So now I got to cut out a piece of plywood to go from here to here, and it's even got a little slot for it to slide in. And I'm not going to put you through the process of watching me cut it. Anybody can cut a piece of wood. We'll slide that in and see what it looks like. Got the board slid into place. Slid right in there nice and neat. That's going to make a nice little addition. It's plenty stout. And now all I got to do is take out all this, take the board back out and degrease this, primer it, and paint it, and put something over all this down here. Ooh. Well, it's another day, and now I'm going to get started back on the grill project. We're going to go out here and I'm going to wash it up, let it sit out in the sun and dry, and then I got a couple ideas I want to show you. Let's get going. Alright, so I got the grill washed up as good as it could be. And now I dried it off good, or let it sit in the sun, then went over it with a towel. Got it all dry. Back there behind it, I've got the plywood that goes right here. And we're going to get ready to start staining that piece of plywood. And then I'm going to clear coat this. I'm going to leave it rusty and everything. I like the patina on it. I don't want to paint it. It earned all those scars. So let's get set up. I'll flip the camera around, show you how I stain. It's easy as pie. But while that stain is drying, then we'll get started on the clear coat. Here we go. So when it comes to staining wood, I personally like to apply it with a rag as opposed to using a brush, for the simple fact that you can usually saturate your rag better, get more stain in it than you can a brush anyway, and if you put it on with a brush, then you have to wipe it off of the rag anyway to blend it and get rid of your brush marks. So why not kill two birds with one stone and wipe it as you go? And I just messed up. Let me stick on my rubber gloves. We get to the top side, I'll probably try to be a little more careful with it. I don't even know the color I'm using, to be honest with you. Special Walnut number 224. And I'm using it because this is what I had. You can stop every now and then, go back over it. Hit any areas that you might have missed. Easy peasy. Once I'm certain that I've got this covered about like I want it, I'm going to go around the outer edge. Once we got that, we're going to let that sit for just a few minutes. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the top side. I'm using a water-based polyacrylic on this. And to be honest, I don't know how this is going to work. I had to use my old ratty brush. All of my other ones are just so used and abused, I just chunked them. There's probably going to be some runs. And there's perforations and bends on this metal that are going to be really difficult to get to. So that's why I'm sure I'm going to have some runs here. This is just to lock the rust in. It's flaking all over, and I don't even care. It's going to look cool either way. I probably could have got away without even doing this, but I wanted to try it. And I'll have to go back over this in a minute and brush out using a dry brush and try to get rid of all the places that it does run. Some of the parts of this that aren't going to be exposed or seen, I'm probably not going to do anything with them. If you've seen any of my sign videos, this is the same stuff I use on my metal signs. It always goes on milky, but it dries clear. That's a wrap. So after it dried and I got the board put in place, I brought it out here in the sun where you could see it a little better. Excuse me, I've been croupy. I love how the patina turned out on both the tabletops. You can't reproduce what God can do with rust. That turned out really cool. I was really happy with the plywood. I stuck an old Oklahoma license plate on the front just to give it a little bit of flair. And at the end of the day, I was blessed with a tool cart that I can drag around when I'm working on all the stuff around here that falls apart. And I hope this gives you some ideas for what you could do with old junk laying around your place. You can always make something useful out of it. I hope you'll like and subscribe. Tune in again. Keep your eyes open for more videos. But for now, this is Shaw with Oklahoma, and I'm signing off.